Hey YouTube, this is diveflyfish. Just want to show you another experiment. Starting off with a piece of magnesium like this, and what I've done is I've created the tenacious white oxide layer on the magnesium on one surface only. What I'm going to be doing is I'm taking some of my constituent cells that have been dried out and crushed. I'm going to be rehydrating those, and I'm going to be making two identical cells on this piece of aluminum, utilizing identical pieces of carbon as an electrode. So we'll have one here and one here. And we're going to see what a carbon-carbon interface does with the substructure of the oxide of the magnesium being a substructure to the carbon-carbon interface. So in other words, we shall see if we were going to have any definitive voltage change with the carbon-carbon interface, or if there's still some sort of ionic permeability past the carbon that I've basically ground into the surface of this oxide. So it's covered. I have a little bit more to go to cover a couple little spots, but in essence you can see the shining. That's just the graphite reflecting off of that versus the dull opaque oxide layer. So I'm going to burnish more carbon graphite into this aspect, make the electrode. We will energize both sides, and we'll see if we see a voltage differential, and we'll go from there. Hey YouTube, this is diveflyfish. This is the new cell that I built utilizing the magnesium substrate here with the tenacious oxide layer that I've formed on one side in the usual and customary manner. Two carbon electrodes, same electrolyte. The only difference is on this side of the magnesium oxide I utilized some carbon to place a small carbon layer over the magnesium oxide as an intermediary between the electrolyte and the carbon. And we're going to see if that was a detriment or any benefit to the cell function. I polarized it with the electrodes a little while ago, so we'll see how this does, and we'll go from there. So we're seeing if the carbon intermediary has any benefit or detriment to ionic exchange. Thanks for watching. Hey YouTube, this is diveflyfish. This is the cell that I just got done making about an hour ago with two pieces of carbon, the electrolyte, the magnesium oxide treated magnesium, and on this side we have the interface layer with some graphite carbon that I scrubbed onto the hard oxide layer. This side just has the oxide layer. So I'm just going to show you the differential in voltage, and this is somewhat interesting. It's not of any great consequence, but both of these are polarized at the same time, utilizing a lead across both these carbon to basically charge this system briefly with 32 volts for a second or two to polarize it, and we'll see what's showing from a voltage standpoint. Okay, so here we have on this side 2.571 volts. Okay, and on this side where there's an intermediary graphite layer between the magnesium oxide and the electrolyte, this is what it shows. So it's a nominal difference, but it's interesting. So actually 22.6 volts. So is there something intrinsic to the graphite intermediary that allows for expedited ionic exchange? That's a interesting question. So again, theoretically, both these cells should be polarized to the same voltage because they're made at the same time and polarized at the same time. But there is a slight differential in voltage. So thought you might find that interesting. This is the same cell. Now we're just going to measure the milliamp hours. Pardon me, I've got my cat crawling up in my lap, so if I wiggle a little bit, I apologize. So here is the right side cell, what it's showing. Okay. Left side shell. Again, this differential here is more profound. I'm going to hold it there for a few seconds, see if it'll stabilize, drop down. Okay, do the same thing here. I find that fascinating. Okay, so that's climbing 3.4, 4.6, 2,
Definitely a differential. Interesting, no? All thoughts welcome.